If you live in the state of California and you like HK pistols, you're going to want to stick around for this. And even if you don't like HK pistols and you live in the state of California, you're going to want to stick around for this. Because the state of California Department of Justice just made it illegal for a random person that is not a cop, don't worry, cops are exempt, to buy a HK USP new from a dealer. Let's talk about it. Now, before we get going, though, I want to say thank you to everyone that stuck around. I took a little week off, enjoying my time off, and I hope you all enjoyed yourself not having to look at my ugly face. So we're back at it. If you want to support this channel, use any of the links down in the description. I really appreciate all your guys' support. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Double check that you're still subscribed, that kind of thing. So let's talk about it. H&K USPs, what's going on with them? Now, if you're in the state of California, chances are you are aware of the California handgun roster. Now, if you're not aware of what that is a list of handguns that the California Department of Justice curates, that they have to do drop testing and various other requirements as far as how they're manufactured based on the time that they got put on the roster. That's a list of handguns that a random person that is not exempt from the roster, meaning cops, could actually buy new from a dealer. Now, you might be asking, well, I've heard about this term off roster. What does that mean? Well, cops, people that move in from out of state, there are ways to acquire firearms off roster, but you can't do it if you're just a random person. So you're limited to that list, which I think now has 850 different models of handgun on it, many of which are just color variations or slight variations of the same exact gun. So if you want to buy a handgun in California, you have about maybe 500 options. And now if you take off all the absolute garbage that's on that list, you have maybe like 50 or 60 realistic, good defensive choices for a handgun, which seems like a lot, but then a lot of them are very similar and it's only models that have been around for a very long time. So none of the new innovations in the market. So we're limited. Some of the limitations on them are based on when those firearms made it onto the roster. So some guns don't have safeties and are on the roster. Some guns have safeties, loaded chamber indicators, magazine disconnects, meaning that if you take the mag out, the gun won't fire even if there's a round in the chamber, which is designed to keep idiots from shooting themselves in the face. But it seems like they managed to do that anyway. So not sure how that's really helping many people. And any new handgun that gets added to the roster would have to have what's called micro stamping. And it gets even crazier as of, I think, July of this year. Now, micro stamping is a technology that when the gun fires the round, a semi-auto handgun fires a round, they want a serial number to be placed on the actual casing. Currently, I think the law is 2 spots. In July, it changes to just 1 spot because they realize this technology that doesn't exist in any practical sense is too impossible to put in 2 places. So they said, we'll just make it slightly less impossible and make it only be on 1 place, even though the technology isn't actually useful. So there's all these requirements for new handguns that would be put on the list. That is why nothing new is added, because nobody does micro stamping and there is no chance in hell Glock is adding a physical safety to any of their guns. So when a gun falls off the roster, that kind of sucks because it's going to be very difficult to get back and it's very hard to just have limited choices to begin with. It increases the cost. You know, if the demand is still way up here, but the supply is way down here because there's only so many manufacturers making handguns that are legal in California, you understand what I'm saying. The issue here is that every year manufacturers have to pay to re-up the status to stay on the roster. They do drop testing, making sure that the gun is physically safe. Thank you, California Department of Justice, for making sure that the Phoenix Arms HP25A is actually safe and not a total piece of garbage. I'm glad I can buy that gun still, but not the HK USP. The problem is this. H&K paid to renew their guns this year, just like most manufacturers do every year to keep their gun on the roster. It seems as if something else happened. Now, typically there's 3 ways that a gun would fall off the roster. Manufacturer stops paying for it, something has changed in the manufacturing process, or through testing, the DOJ determines that it is unsafe. It's likely the second one. That second option is something we've seen before with Franklin Armory. Franklin Armory was making the CA7, CA11, and CA12 bolt-action repeater pistols. At one point, it became difficult for them to source the metal magazines, the metal 10-round magazines, so they decided to use Magpul PMags. The DOJ said, absolutely the fuck not. They had to get a new version of their guns put on the handgun roster with Magpul PMags. This is likely what is happening with H&K. I believe, I'm assuming, this is just my assumptions, that something has changed in the manufacturing process of how they make these HK USP models that has changed the gun as far as the California Department of Justice is concerned. If something as simple as swapping the magazine for the gun can make the Franklin Armory fall off the roster, something as simple as where HK sources certain springs, maybe the springs are made in a different factory that's still owned by HK or a subsidiary of them, any tiny change to the manufacturing process of where they source parts or what parts go in, even if it doesn't affect the functionality at all, even if it doesn't affect the safety at all, that could be why these HK USPs have fallen off the roster. Now, don't worry. If you're a law enforcement officer in the state of California, you can still go ahead and pick one of these up off roster, and you can sell it for twice MSRP, brand new, or beat the shit out of it and still sell it for twice MSRP on CalGuns or Arms List. Cool beans. Thank you. I'm so glad that cops are making supplementary income like that. Now, this is going to be a big issue because this was just dropped on us out of nowhere. I've seen people in various comment sections saying that they own gun stores and they have people that are on 10-day waits right now. And we will see if those 10-day waits actually clear and if those customers are able to pick up their guns, because they started the process on a gun that was legal for them to start the process on. Now, it is no longer legal for a gun store to deliver that firearm to them. Some gun stores have said that they will just try to deliver it and sneak it by the DOJ. We will see what happens with that. If you are a gun store or if you are a customer who currently has one of these guns that just fell off the roster on 10-day wait, reach out to me. Let me know how it all goes. I would love to know more. I would love to stay in the loop on this. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them down below. I appreciate everyone's support. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace. I really do appreciate everyone's support. I took a week off to go on my honeymoon, and it was a great experience. I really enjoyed the Bahamas. It was very fun. I hope that you all didn't miss me too much. I'm sure you didn't. But I appreciate the support. If you guys want to support this channel, you guys know that you can always just follow me on various social media platforms, that kind of thing. I usually post when videos go live on various social media platforms. So when YouTube decides that they don't want to send you a notification, even though you got notifications turned on, you might see it somewhere else and still get the memo that a video went out. Got a lot of videos planned. I am going to have to figure out how to use my Ghost Gunner 3 today so that I can mill out a 1911 in my garage and get that all done. Thank you.